It's cool, you can play dynamically, like...
This distortion cost only $3. Can you guess what it is? It's not from the amp.
It reacts just like a nice distortion pedal.
It's not even from a guitar pedal. That's right, it's a cassette recorder. I was inspired to set this rig up when I came across a video by David Hillowitz. If you haven't heard of him, I recommend you check his videos out. They're pretty great. It wasn't long before I made my way to the local thrift store in search of a cassette recorder. I found the perfect match. Later, I compare this distortion to that of 2 other cassette recorders, but before that, what's going on here exactly? Firstly, it's important to understand what distortion actually is. Every speaker or amplifier has a limit to the amount of volume it can output. When this limit is surpassed, the signal is literally clipped off, and we get a gritty and crunchy version of the original sound. When I first plugged this thing in, I was very happy with the results.
You could hear whatever's going through the cassette recorder if you press record. Whoa. That's cool. That sounds nice. Let's turn it up. You can see it's like no distortion is coming from the amp, but that sounds gnarly. Yeah, that sounds cooler than I anticipated. Yeah, if we turn it up more, it should clip even more. And then all the way up. Yeah, that's gnarly. It has a cool range too. Let's try with like a not as heavy pickup. So like when I first started playing guitar, I had no guitar pedals and I just wanted a distortion pedal so I could emulate going from clean to a distorted sound. Specifically, I wanted to play like River Cuomo from Weezer, Say It Ain't So. This was the introduction of me getting into effects pedals, was just understanding, oh, for that song, that's how they got it. It was a distortion pedal, clicking it on. And it's cool just to think about different ways to approach or get the distortion that I probably could have gotten a cheap cassette recorder as my distortion pedal. But like, I don't know, I had no idea that you could do something like that. This is the coolest like $3 distortion pedal I've ever bought. And it's like in a form that I would not have expected.
This cassette recorder gives me distortion because the signal from my guitar is exceeding the max amplitude that the cassette recorder is designed to receive through its mic input. Microphones output a lot lower volume than instruments like electric guitar, so connecting the two together easily achieves distortion. The peaks of the sound waves are sawed off, and what we hear as a result is a serrated version of the original sound. In the coming weeks, I kept my eyes out for any other cassette recorders that I could add to my collection. I was interested in comparing and contrasting the various sonic qualities that these devices could add to my recordings.
I think it's super cool that it has both a left and a right input. So even if you had this
as like a saturation at the end of a stereo chain, you'd be able to use it, because most distortions aren't stereo. But then the Hitachi car cassette recorder, it had like more of a bass quality and less of compression, whereas the Panasonic, I noticed a good amount of compression once I started hitting the preamp heavy with it. But I'm curious to see what you guys think. I've never used a cassette recorder as a distortion pedal before. Each one of these has their own unique quality. It's funny that I think the highest fidelity one, this stereo cassette recorder, was the cheapest that I got. All of these are from the thrift store. Again, this one was $10, Facebook Marketplace actually, $6, and then this one was just $3. And I think it just goes to show that sometimes the gear in front of us, it might not be the most exciting or have the freshest coat of paint, but if we give it a chance, it may inspire a lot more out of us than we anticipate. You know, musicians, I feel like we oftentimes, particularly guitarists, we judge more so with our eyes than our ears, when in the end, if it sounds good, it is good, whether or not it has a little horsey on the box or not. But I just encourage you to go forward, use the gear that you have, and do your best not to judge it based off of the model or the status that that piece of gear or instrument may or may not have. And you may be surprised with what you end up bonding to. If you like cassette recorders, tape saturation, anything like that, watch my last video where I use this guy, the Generation Loss by Bliss, to write a guitar solo.
Thank you.